Welcome back. So there's growing outrage over AfriForum and Solidarity's remarks during their visit with White House officials. President Cyril Ramaphosa has for the first time spoken out publicly on the lobby group's visit, calling it divisive. Not so long ago, the MK party opened a case of treason against AfriForum at the Cape Town Central Station for allegedly spreading misinformation about the Expropriation Act, which it said had resulted in the US President Donald Trump halting millions of dollars in aid to South Africa. Let's now explore this conversation with the advocate of the High Court of South Africa, Phazha Ngandwe. We're also joined by ATM spokesperson Zama Ntshona. Very good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Zama, I'm going to start off with you. Why do you believe that the Solidarity movement is guilty of treason?
Thank you so much. Well, for us as the African Transformation Movement, we have to start from this fact first. For Solidarity and AfriForum to think that after they actually, they are part of a lineage that benefited from laws that actually advanced white people in this country, it would be wrong for us to call for redress. So we believe that it is truly unfortunate that they have not actually seen the wrongs of the past, and they do not want to commit to the correction of those wrongs of the past. So for us as the African Transformation Movement, we see this move as nothing else but a complete denial that there was once a time in South Africa.
Sure, Zama, unfortunately we're running out of time, but I need us to get to why you believe that they are guilty of treason.
They are mobilizing against the state, and they are also sending false information to the world against the state. And when you look at the Riotous Act, it speaks clearly on that. When you do that, you are a treasonous person. This is why we believe that they have to be subjected to the laws of this country, because they are mobilizing against the state and they are spreading lies. That's why we believe that that particular action must actually be dealt with.
All right. So treason, the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill or overthrow the sovereignty or overthrow the sovereign or the government. Do you think that that is what AfriForum movement is doing in this particular case?
No, there are three. You must also go to the other subsections. Also, mobilizing against the state is also part of the three. So it's not just to kill, but also when economically you are mobilizing against the state, you are killing the state. So for us as the African Transformation Movement, we believe that that's exactly what they are doing. And they are moving from a very wrong premise, and it should not be allowed.
But let's continue from your end then in the meantime, Zama. So this charge of treason, how then do you prove that this is a treasonous, what has been done by AfriForum as well as Solidarity?
One of the ways of looking into it is the aftermath, the after effects of the mobilization, what actually becomes of the propaganda of AfriForum. And right now we know that in US aid, there are millions that are not going to come to South Africa because of that propaganda. And there were also other parts of the world who were considering actually standing with the USA on the matter of South Africa. These are the negative effects for us, which believe must actually give the courts of the land the right to actually issue a sentence of guilty on AfriForum when the AfriForum is actually mobilizing and negatively impacting the state.
Yeah. How do you juxtapose that to when an organization, any organization, goes out of the country to go and lobby, and in their lobbying, as the point that I've made here with Advocate Ngandwe's argument is that even if it is misleading, even if it is controversial, it doesn't necessarily amount to treason. So you have a lobby group that goes out of the country to go and lobby another country, to say that, listen, these are the things that are happening against my people, in this particular case, the Afrikaners. And it seems that, that Donald Trump has taken up the argument that has been made by these lobby groups. How then, once again, do you prove that this is treasonous, even though, as Advocate Ngandwe has said, it could be controversial or misleading, but not necessarily meet the definition of treasonous?
But in this case, it is not just a question of misleading. It is a lie. There are no farms that are being taken in South Africa. And the issue of white people being targeted. In South Africa, there are 74 murders every day, and the majority of those people are black people. So the issue of the white community is going extinct. Those are because there is a project to kill the white man. It is actually a lie, because everybody in South Africa is subjected to the harshness of the environment. These are lies. This is not just misinformation. This is a deliberate propaganda to try and undermine the state of South Africa. This is why, as the African Transformation Movement, we believe that should equal a treasonous charge, which would then set out a program to actually deal with AfriForum and Solidarity for not only spreading misinformation, but deliberately putting South Africa on a bad light. That's why we are saying we have a problem with this, and also it should actually equal a treasonous act.
Okay. Has the ATM opened its own cases yet?
No, not as yet. The NEC is meeting on the matter and discussing steps moving forward, but we strongly believe that we are truly being undermined by AfriForum and Solidarity.
All right. I want to hear what your take is on what the president has had to say yesterday, being asked about the actions of AfriForum, as well as Solidarity. He says that we need to be sending it is not nation building. That's not a nation building process. Running around the world trying to have your problems solved. Is that a strong enough message, do you think, coming from the president?
I think he's getting there. He's getting there. We also don't have any intentions of sending white people out to sea, but we must coexist, and in coexisting, we must actually acknowledge the wrongs of the past, and we must actually be people who are committed to redress. But truly, I agree on the issue of there must be a strong message sent so that people must actually be truthful to the South African narrative, so that we are able to grow as a united country. But if anybody within the country is not going to acknowledge the wrongs of the past and the fact that we must redress them, we must actually send a very strong message to them.
Okay.
Aldrin, I managed to change gadgets. I hope I'm audible now.
Okay, yes, you much better now. Let's quickly try Advocate Ngandwe. Unfortunately, also running out of time. But yes, again, going to the point that you raised in the Mail and Guardian article, that even if controversial or misleading, it doesn't meet the true definition of a treason. We'll just expand a bit on that, because the ATM is of a different view.
Yes, as you have already discussed with your guest, the truth is that there would be a definition of proscription of the offense itself. And as he correctly pointed out, at least there is the third element, which speaks to where an individual or a group of people intend to coerce a government or a sovereign state to act or not to act in a particular manner. That is the one leg on which a case of treason of this nature may stand on, which is clearly a slim chance. But all in all, the position is, as a jurisprudent, I'd rather have the case go to court, get tested. Let's allow the definition of treason get tested under our constitutional democracy milieu, so that the jurisprudence can expand. There's nothing that hurts by doing that. Allow the courts of law to deal with the matter. But the further point I want to make is, if citizens of a country have got issues with their own government, the question is, have they exhausted internal, domestic, and municipal remedies? For instance, engagement with the current government. If engagement with the current government fails, what do? Solidarity and them, they know very well. They are, one can say, trigger happy. They are in court almost every time on constitutional matters. They know our courts of law are competent and able to adjudicate such matters. Why have they not taken this particular statute to court so that it can be tested against the massa of the Constitution?